Hey, it's Karl. So budget tech episode again today, and we're not gonna go through a specific price category. This is just tech relatively budget compared to what I guess the more expensive options were. I've got a bunch of different stuff, and I know that with stuff being more expensive these days, it's just always nice to save a bit of money. So the first one is probably the nicest keyboard that I've used like to date. So Keychron makes some awesome keyboards. I've reviewed their Q1s, their K1s. Those are around that $99 price range. This one is a bit more expensive. This is around like $175, but this is, like I said, the most solid and the best mechanical keyboard. So if you've got that extra money to spend, this is the one that you gotta get. So this is their Q5 Max, and what makes this kind of a bit more special is the overall build quality. Like, I think if I put this on a scale, it would be the heaviest and heftiest keyboard that I've ever used. The buttons, or I guess the keys for it, are super solid. There's no weird wiggle. Every single key press that you hit feels like God is touching your fingers. That's a bold statement. The amount of travel on this is literal perfection. So if you are set up at an actual desk typing all day, this is something that you'd want to get. You can customize it. You can see here that I've actually got brown switches, which are my personal favorite. I know that switch color selection is obviously personal preference, but this is something that you got to get. You got to try out. There's some customization options. You've got this little scroll wheel, so if you're editing, you can kind of use that to your heart's content. There's two color options for this variant, and this works for both Mac and Windows. Honestly, like I said, the best keyboard, the most solid, the most premium. And if you look at other keyboards that kind of match this premium feel, you're looking at like $300, $350 for the exact same thing. So definitely budget, but on the premium side. So the next item, or the second device, is the OnePlus 12R, and OnePlus also came out with the OnePlus 12, which is their flagship, $900. Obviously, it's their premium device. This one is more on the mid-range. Really reminds me of what OnePlus used to be when they first started. So like flagship killer, great specs, but killer price, which was the big one. This thing is $499 or $399 with trade-in, and you can trade in any smartphone or any device. Like, you can have like a $50 like flip phone, you'll get $100 off. $399 gets you last gen's premium flagship chip, so that's the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. This still has a 120 hertz screen. It's the biggest battery that they've got on a phone, 5,500 milliamps, but I guess the only real downgrade is the camera system from the 12, so this one doesn't have that collab with Hasselblad, but other than that, this is the best phone with, like I said, last year's chip, which was a premium chip. And if you have like benchmark comparisons, you might see a slight difference, but in actual performance, you can throw everything at this that you would throw at the 12 at any flagship, and it still performs great. So this, honestly, best value phone of the year. Probably the phone that I would recommend to most people that don't want to burn $1,000 plus on a phone. When you look at like the S24 Ultra, that thing is like 1,200, 2,000 Canadian. You can get something for pretty much half the price that performs like 85, 90% of the spec. So awesome stuff for OnePlus. I think this will sell really well. And like I said, definitely on the budget side, but you don't sacrifice too much. So keeping on the smartphone game, we're gonna go through a couple accessories, ones that I've just kind of got in. So a lot of fans of Nomad stuff, obviously we know that Apple doesn't make any more leather stuff. So they've come out with these new slim cases that kind of snap onto the back of your phone. So they have the two different color options. They're both in leather. So I've got this one in brown here, which I'll kind of show you guys. It's pretty much just a little cover. And you can see on the back, there is pretty much nothing. It's just like slim, compact. Kind of reminds me of those Moto Mod accessories, which you kind of just slap onto the back of your phone, which this does connect via MagSafe. On the back, they do have these little sticky pads that you would remove to make it a bit more sturdy, but even without those, you can see it kind of just snaps on. You still get the premium feel of the titanium of the 15 Pro or the 15 Pro Max with that extra benefit of some leather protection. And obviously the nice thing with leather, it patinas nicely over time. It comes in the two different color options. So we've got the brown or the black. And I think this is great for those that want that leather feel but don't want to add extra bulk to your phone. So Nomad always hooks you up with leather accessories still. A couple more accessories for phones. Obviously, we know D-Brand that makes skin accessories for not just phones, but laptops, pretty much all devices. So for example, on the bottom of my MacBook Pro, I've just got the Jerry Rig Everything like X-ray skin to give it a little bit of extra protection. What a lot of people actually don't know, they also make screen protectors as well. So usually when whenever I get a new device, I always kind of slap one of these on. So obviously I've got one for my 15 Pro Max installed, but now if you also have the S24 Ultra, which now has that flat display, obviously flat displays lead to better screen protectors. They no longer have that little curve. So my usual recommendation, if you want to rock any phone naked, at least get a screen protector. They've made their glass usually softer, which is better for not shattering, but definitely picks up more scratches, so keep your smartphones protected. Like I said, these are expensive devices. You're paying like $1,400 for a phone. Just stick a $10 screen protector to keep your life a bit more manageable. So next off, something that I actually just picked up personally. I know that I usually rock AirTags on my devices, but the biggest problem to put them in things like wallets, they're never thin enough. So I just got something from Tile, which is essentially a little tracker in the shape of a card. So that makes that perfect for putting inside of a wallet, or even like my passport little holder, which just makes it a bit more slim, because I'm always someone that loses track of my stuff. And just like an AirTag, you can see where this is anywhere in the world. If you misplace it, if you leave it in a lounge, if you leave it in a restaurant, this should hopefully help keep track of it. Speaking of traveling, I actually lost my last little travel mouse on my last trip. I left it in the hotel, so I wish it had an AirTag or a Tile on it, but I just picked up a new one. Just great as a secondary mouse, something that I kind of bring with me when I travel, when I'm working in a hotel room. I just like to, edit with this rather than using a trackpad. It's lightweight, it doesn't cost too much money, and it was just one of the cheaper options, honestly, that I saw kicking around on Amazon. Last but not least, another Amazon purchase. This was 11 bucks, so probably the cheapest item on the list. It's just a little micro SD card, and even a little SIM card tool slot holder. Obviously, these things kind of float around in any bag. This is essentially just a little wallet for it to kind of hold it. It's in this nice little aluminum sleeve. It keeps everything organized. And if you are someone that uses this kind of stuff on the go, it actually has two sides for multiple slots. You can kind of just keep this in your pack, and your SD cards will now always be safe. So super dope. And once again, 11 bucks, and solid little Amazon purchase. So that kind of wraps up some of the best budget tech, all the stuff that's kind of come into the studio over the past couple months. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I think the last thing that I'll end off on, just because it's off to the side. So obviously I make desk setups. People kind of, watch those videos all the time. For little budget pieces, honestly, you cannot beat just good old Funko Pops for 10 to 15 bucks. I find that they add like the most personalization. Like if you're a big Pokemon fan, if you're a big Naruto fan, for $10 to $15, these honestly put the biggest smile on my face whenever I see them. Like I'm Team Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur is the best starting OG Pokemon ever. Nick is shaking his head, but this little silver dude somehow matches like my Pro Display XDR, which out of all things makes me kind of happy. So anyways, I'll leave off the episode on that, maybe the cheapest thing actually on the list. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. This guy needs a little flat ground to stand up so he doesn't fall over. I'll catch you in one of my next ones. Peace.